Good night. This is my last recording for lesson 11 for the factorial tree. I will run it normally once so you can see, and then we will debug it. I'm going to enter the number 4 just for explanation purposes. So this is what we're supposed to get. I took a screenshot of it because when we run it in the debug version, it actually won't draw the picture at all. It'll just stop responding until the very end. So let's go all the way up here. There's a text field. This is where we will have the user enter the number, and we have a button and then the pane, which is where the tree will be drawn. If we go here, we can see there is a go button, and if clicked, it'll call draw. Draw will start off by getting the integer num, which will be the integer in the num field. It'll set the height and the width to, respectively, 600 and 500. Now the reason I didn't do 600 and 600 like I did here was specifically so I can have a little space for the enter number, the text field, and the button. Otherwise it would start down here, and I didn't like how that looked, so that is why I did it like that. Now it'll get the starting x and y coordinates, which are double start x and double start y. It'll start off with width divided by 2, so it could be in the middle, and then the height just regularly, and then it'll call tree. Now it'll start off with a degree of 90, and the length, which will be the length of the line, will be the height divided by 4. I tried it with height divided by 2, height divided by 3. I didn't like how it looked, so I chose height divided by 4. The first thing it'll do when it calls tree is get the ending coordinates, which in this case, this is the starting coordinate, and this is the ending coordinate. It is that little line, or not so little line, but it is so that it can eventually call a new line with the starting x, the starting y, and then the ending x and y coordinates. So it'll call it, and then it'll pass the line. And we could go ahead and run it on the debug so that we can stop, or I can stop it and explain what exactly is going on. We're choosing 4, and now here we see that it stopped when it created the line. As you can see, it calculated the ending, so it is the starting of 300, the starting y of 500, and then it is finding the ending y and x coordinates. So it'll add to the pane. Now this is where it'll call to check, see if the number is more than 1, and in this case it is right now true. So if we just put this up and go ahead, we can see that it'll call the first one tree again, except the starting x and y coordinates are now what this above line's ending x and y coordinates were. So it is still called end x and end y, but it is being passed as the starting x and y coordinates. The degree has changed. I did it to be 30 degrees. So this angle is 30 degrees to the right and left respectively. Again, I tried a few other degrees, but I didn't like any of them, so I stuck to 30. And then the length is going to shorten every single time a branch is passed. So I just multiplied it by 0.7. You could also, I guess, divide it by 2, I think is one I tried. But I kind of liked how this one looked, how much shorter you could tell it's getting shorter. And finally, number goes down. So it'll pass again through tree. It'll find the new ending coordinates and it'll add the line. It'll go again to if number is more than 1, which again is true. It'll draw the the third branch. So we've done this branch was the very first one, then it called tree again and created this line, and now it is being called again and creating this line. So it'll draw the line and again pass tree. So it'll create this line right here. Again, going through the exact same steps, finding the ending coordinates as such. So it'll draw that line, but this time it'll call tree this bottom one right here, which is essentially the exact same thing, except instead of the degree being -30, it'll be the degree +30. So it'll now be drawing this line. It has now drawn it, and it'll go back to right here and draw this line. As you can see, it is a bit repetitive. This one is to the right, and then it'll go to the left, so it'll call this bottom one next. And it'll keep doing that until eventually it ends up drawing. Let's go ahead and stop these. It'll just go ahead and draw everything else. So as you can see, it'll keep going here, go back, draw this one to the left, go all the way back, draw the left of this branch, and then draw the right of this branch, and then draw the left of this branch. So it's a lot of back and forth, but eventually you can do something like this, which is where it'll do it 10 times and it becomes a lot more intricate. Thank you.